Well, that's what if you, come on, man, that's just hanging around the cellar. That's just table stuff, you know?
True.
That's just being at the table.
It's nice. That's a nice Templar. That's where that kind of talk belongs, dude. You can't give
it out to the civilians for free, dude.
No, bro. You can't diffuse the legendary hang,
There's so
dude.
many fucking assassins down here. We got...
Alright, so during a recent episode of Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker spent some time talking about the overall comedy war that's happening right now between Austin, Texas, and pretty much the rest of the world. And even though they both live in Austin and do sets at the mothership every single week, it seems like they don't want to be associated with the Austin comedy scene whatsoever. And it's almost like they'd take it as an insult if you classified them as Austin comics, which is a completely valid feeling to have. Like, sure, Matt and Shane are great friends with the entire Rogansphere, but that doesn't change the fact that their friends are complete hacks. And they know this. I mean, you just saw them making fun of how Joe Rogan considers him and his posse as assassins, or the Comedy Death Squad. And shortly you'll see them make fun of how pretentious it is to consider comedy as a sacred art form like Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz have on several JRE episodes. So they're very aware of the bad reputation that Austin has garnered over the years. And they obviously know about all the hate that their buddies receive online. Because in this next clip, they admit to watching YouTube videos criticizing the Rogansphere and how Joe Rogan has ruined comedy. So something tells me that the Elephant Graveyard's recent video about that whole scene left a long-lasting impact on Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker.
I still get moved every time when I see a dude with like genuine disabilities doing his thing on stage, because to me it's like, I don't know, I would give in. It would just be too much for me. I don't know that my spirit would be resilient enough to fucking practice the sacred art form that is stand-up comedy.
Dude, it's such a sacred art. And that's what the thing that's driving me during the Comedy Wars is how sacred the art is. That's all.
Yeah, dude.
The Comedy Wars will pass.
Yeah, you will. They'll pass. It'll pass.
This is what I got to go to New York last week.
I'm going back to Philly for about 6 months, so
yeah.
I'm out. Fuck the Austin scene, dude.
No.
I'm back. East Coast till I die, bro. East Coast all day. Well, we were watching nasty YouTube videos about the Comedy Wars. Yeah. And I was like, what are we doing? Let's get something positive.
Grind the tape.
No, I had to stop.
Put on fucking Grind the Tape.
So much, dude. The fate of the universe hangs in the balance, bro.
Well, the Comedy Wars?
Yes.
Dude. The Austin comedy scene's too powerful. LA and New York need to unite to destroy the Austin comedy scene. How are they going to stop it?
It's just so we have all the butt wipes.
And so, throughout this podcast, Shane Gillis kept bringing up how he's from Philadelphia, which to me just shows how much he doesn't want to be labeled as a comedian from Austin, even though he currently lives there. Which is just so funny to me. I mean, it'd be like if Joe Rogan considered himself as a Boston comic, just because he started doing comedy there. Like, that is the length that Shane's willing to go to separate himself from this army of healthy hacks. He even considers the podcast he does with Matt McCusker to be a Philly podcast, even though all of the recent episodes have been filmed in one of their huge Austin mansions.
I talk to the people in the New York, and everyone talks a big game, and then when they see you, they're very interested in knowing how that's working, and can they get a little piece of that? There's a hopelessness out there. You got LA. You say, what are the podcasts that you can go on here? They got nothing. They got LA? The Bad Friends universe.
No, there's a lot. There's so many. LA and New York are doing great.
No, New York's doing great on the podcast. LA's
got a ton.
If you're Bill Burr's friend,
Glassman's out there.
Yes, that's number 3.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Name a fourth. Name a fourth.
How many are fucking here?
We got the Matt and Shane Secret Podcast. We got the Joe Rogan
Philly.
Experience.
That's East Coast all day.
You got to take the Stuff Island being here.
Philly all day.
That's Philly podcast.
What am I, Australian podcasting?
Yeah. Philly. I also like LA. I was just out there filming a special. It's really nice. I like
LA's
everywhere.
great. Comedy Store's fucking great.
I know. I like everywhere.
Everything's
I hope it doesn't devolve into a Biggie Tupac situation. I don't want to see. I don't see Joe DeRosa get shot in a 92 Mercedes. What a good time. Everyone will relax and have a good time.
So just for some context here, Shane Gillis moved to Austin back in 2023, drawn in by its tax perks and proximity to Joe Rogan's mothership. But now that Shane Gillis is pretty much Taylor Swift for the average frat guy, he really doesn't need to be there anymore. And frankly, Joe needs Shane on his stage more than Shane needs Austin. Or Rogan, for that matter. And now that Rogan, Hinchcliffe, and that whole crowd is being called out, it could be time for Shane Gillis to happily part ways with the Rogansphere. Not in a way that would make anyone mad, but in like an understanding, sort of wholesome way. like how Theo Von left the podcast he did with Brendan Schaub, The King and the Sting, or how Joe Rogan slowly stopped inviting Brendan Schaub back onto JRE. Like, obviously they both wanted nothing to do with him after he bullied Bobby Lee, but to this day, Brendan still thinks of them as close friends. So I could see that sort of thing going down between Shane Gillis and Papa Toe. So in this next clip here, Shane, Matt, and their guest, James McCann, started speaking about Marc Maron calling out Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe in his latest special. And if there's anything that points to Shane not needing Joe Rogan or the Rogansphere anymore, it's this clip right here. Because unlike Tony Hinchcliffe or Brendan Schaub, who got completely heated and went into full-blown cope and denial mode about Marc Maron calling them out, Shane just kind of makes light of the entire situation, and even goes as far as to say that he respects what Marc Maron did, since in Shane's eyes, Marc's gotten to a point in his 40-year comedy career where he simply doesn't care anymore and calls a hack when he sees one, which Shane mentions that he could see himself doing when he gets to that point in his career.
It'll blow over. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. Bunch of motherfucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
It is. It's deeply a bunch of bickering. I don't like it.
We're better together.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Stop Austin hate. That's what I say.
Stop Austin hate.
Don't make it become Austin
beating
strong.
us up in the street, throwing us in front of fucking trains and shit. Stop Austin hate.
Yeah, true. Who do you think's fucking? You think it's a New York comic who's been murdering everyone by Lady Bird Lake?
Certain, without a doubt.
Shane is fucking immature.
Marc Maron is stalking the streets at night.
Killing hacks.
True.
Slaying all the hacks.
So he might be on Assassin's Creed. Just sits in the back of an open mic and goes,
I do respect
how uninspiring.
Yeah. I do respect being old and just being like, fucking hacks. Everyone sucks. They're all fucking hacks. That could be the life cycle I'm in.
So not only does he not defend Mr. Rogan when the topic arises here, he actually respects what Marc Maron's done this summer, in a kind of twisted sort of way. And I feel that he thinks that this whole beef is just embarrassing. Another interesting point in this podcast was actually brought up by the guest, who told Shane and Matt that channels like Too Lazy to Try and Comedy Enforcement don't really rope Shane into being an Austin comedian, which is completely true. I mean, Shane does have a group of people out there that really don't like him, but that's never really touched on by the channels in this category, which Shane says it's because we all know that he's from Philadelphia, but really, I think it's because he doesn't approach comedy with this sort of snobby, elitist attitude that guys like Tom Segura, Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Andrew Schultz all have. And he's also not one to really kiss the floor that Joe Rogan walks on. Like some of these other guys are so scared to call out Joe Rogan on any of the crimes against comedy that he's committed over the years. Like, for example, when Joe Rogan put his own photo between Robin Williams and George Carlin's at his Austin Comedy Club. That's gotta be a comedy war crime, and nobody really said anything about it to Rogan. The only reason he took it down was because the Elephant Graveyard made a video about it calling him out.
Open micer, I was sitting around going, everyone's a fucking hack piece of shit, they suck.
What have you become? This is what you've done since day one.
Who have I called a hack?
I've seen you up the back of comedy rooms.
Okay, in private.
Yeah, no.
In private.
Only in private. You're very good in public, but...
No, don't worry, dude. We're under the spotlight, though. The podcast wars.
Butt wipes, please.
I've seen some of these videos.
Butt wipes, forgive us, dude. Never give him butt wipes. Never give him butt wipes.
They go in the Austin comedy scene, except Shane Gillis, and then they move on. They carve you out at the moment.
Philly till I die, dude.
Shane, Matt, and their guest then go on to talk about the increasing amounts of disabled people that are becoming regulars on Kill Tony, joking about how some of them don't seem as innocent as they portray themselves to be. And honestly, I just find this whole topic to be extremely interesting, and I would love to know what you guys think about it, because to me, it's always been a net positive that Tony Hinchcliffe platforms good comics no matter what they look or sound like. But I've seen some differing opinions about it online, and I am aware that the Legion of Skanks guys pranked Tony Hinchcliffe by bringing on their latest golden ticket winner, which was hilariously a guy dressed up as a burn victim who couldn't even say anything on stage, which Tony seemed to be kind of pressed about.
I think this guy could be the next.
I would love to see it. Maybe we'll send him down to Austin because he's fucking great. He's the best. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give it up for Jimmy Trejo. Jimmy Trejo, come on. So talented. This guy. than me.
Wow. I see why you guys keep him behind a paywall.
So overall, I think it's more complex than I once thought, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it in the comments.
We have all the butt wipes.
They're doing a nice successful blockade on the butt wipes. They're going into like deep political theory. I mean, like it's actually fascist. You go, fuck, I didn't think about that.
It's gonna backfire. You can't do that.
Blue Chew, are you okay doing business with me?
You can't call the group fascist.
But then you can't say you're not fat.
It's gonna be like Cracker Barrel. It's gonna be like Vanity Fair.
True.
You can't do that.
True.
They're gonna go, well, that's
just 1,000 disabled guys going, we will stand with you for my minute, don't get that.
The disabled guys are little nasty fucks, dude.
They're the ones no one's keeping an eye on.
Climber fuckers.
What, dude, yeah. Think about it.
You think because of the disability, you're like, this guy must be a sweetheart. Then you talk to him and you go, this guy's a little climber.
No.
This guy's a little nasty fuck.
Think about the drudgery.
And that could be any of them. I'm not
Well, some of them don't have a lot of time. They've got to establish the career very quickly.
I think those guys, they seem good.
Which specific disabled?
They're all fake.
Dude, think about the fucking dread and like drudgery of just being like a healthy young man in an office. You're like, I got to escape this form that is my life. If you fucking strap me down and like scramble my fucking wires, I'd be like, I gotta fucking do something about this.
Yeah, you gotta nothing but respect for the disabled bros. That
for sure,
killing it.
They get me every time.
Does
like,
New York have any disabled men?
A lot of stairs in that.
There's a couple disabled men.
A lot of fake ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, the cellar.
You gotta get carried down into the cellar.
True. Yeah, is that place even fucking? Is that place ADA compliant, by the way?
The Stand?
Let me find out the cellar's not ADA compliant.
If you go in the front, yeah, they'll get some of those guys.
I was about to make a YouTube video, thank God. I was about to fucking trash them.
Dude, the New York comedy scene, we're coming for you.
We need ramps.
We need ramps, dude. That's one thing Austin's got a fuck ton of. Every comedian takes 30 minutes to get to the stage. They got to sit on one of those fucking... You should see our pool parties. Everyone's getting dipped in by those poolside chairs.
We should get a zip line from the balcony.
So at the end of the day, Shane Gillis doesn't really want to be grouped in with the Rogansphere guys anymore. Not because he really hates them, but because he doesn't really need to be in it. Like he's carved out a lane that's just way bigger than Joe Rogan's comedy death squad could ever be. So Rogan's inner circle might be scrambling to defend themselves against critics like Marc Maron, but Shane has already moved past that. And with that being said, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching.